Good morning. Let me turn off the music before YouTube takes down this video. The topic of this live stream is something that's very important to me personally, and something that's offered me liberation like no other thing in my life. And what I'm speaking about, of course, is the fact that um, you can make things. You don't have to just be a consumer. You can make things. You can everything that you see, everything that's beautiful, that's here, everything that you see with your eyes, that you hear, that you read, that you watch, that you hold, like this expensive Copic here, was made by someone. We're all creators and we're all gods in that way. We all have the power to create. And as I said recently in one of my other videos, you don't have to ask for permission to create things. And that looks, that looks different to different people. That is also something that's subconscious. That if you've been traumatized by being told, by being restrained to not create and freely express yourself because you've been told these are the only right ways to express yourself, like 12 different ways according to the school program or whatever. If you've had that trauma, then you should know that that part of you that's still suggesting that you could be free and do something for fun, you should heed that call, and that'll allow you to be creative and no longer fear the cosmos and the beauty that it offers, because every moment has the potential to offer you the greatest happiness. It's simply the way in which you observe that moment. And so to not get sidetracked or get distracted from my main point here, my main point is that, like everything, for me, everything is made of colors. This here, this is made of colors. I mean, this tube here, I mean, it holds colors, right? It's Mars black, but this tube itself is made of colors. I mean, isn't that insane? Like this shiny, sort of glossy tube here that, it's like glossy white. But this is made of colors, and then it has this printed on it, which is also color. And this pencil sharpener, this is red, and everything is made of colors. Isn't that insane? If you just think about it that way. Of course, you can get scientific about it. Sure, that I'm not saying that's a false way to think about it, but that also should offer you kind of liberation to be able to see the world in an interesting way. That everything is made of atoms. I mean, what are atoms? Is that not insane that you can have something like an atom? But right, it's the way you see things. And so now, if I hold the view that everything is made of colors, well, then I can put those colors in a certain order and create something. I.e., this, for example, a piece of paper, and I use some carbon black, and I, used my brush and dipped it in carbon black and did this, and I created this. I reconfigured the cosmos in some way. I've changed the cosmos in some way. I've added this to it. That should blow everybody's mind. It blows my mind. And the amount of happiness that I get from a realization like that is greater than anything else. It's just to be able to make this is insane to me. It's insane to me. Now this is here. And of course, it could be destroyed just like any other thing, or it could be mass produced, or the people liking it, people, whatever the next step is, the next consequence is, um, that's beside the point. The act of creation is worthy in of itself. It has an intrinsic worth, um, and that makes you think that think about how we all have these things inside of us, and then you pour it out on a piece of paper, and there's that thing there, and that was inside of you all along. You felt that, you had that in you, you went through that experience, and feelings indicate something very real. Uh, for a second, consider the fact that if you didn't feel anything, if all of your sensory perception, all of it went away, and you could only analyze things, wouldn't that be a wonderful state of existence? Give me a moment here while I change the battery on this camera. All right, we should be back now. There we go. So yeah, as I was saying just now, it's all about the way in which you view the world, or my favorite world, the cosmos. And I'm not going to give you a longer lecture than that. Just the daily dose of inspiration, if you will, and something to keep you motivated to pursue what gives you life force. Because certainly everything that I do is now aimed at toward the goal of giving me life force. And I think when you find something like that, you'll realize, or you find things like that. Um, it's my hope, and I think this is true, that you will begin to feel closer, to finding and discovering your true purpose and why you're here, and um, what's your life's work, what's truly meaningful work to you, for you. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in all of that, and none of this is just aspirational messages. I'm walking the talk, ladies and gentlemen. So look at this, for example. I had this bag, this shopping bag from Nike, and it looked like this, which I think is okay, but it's really boring. It's really boring. um, so I did this sort of 3 Buddha statues. Those of you who've checked my portfolio recently will recognize that I did a much bigger canvas with a bunch of these Buddha statues. I don't know if I should call them Buddha statues, but I'm referencing something historical in in these figures. It's a callback to the moment when the Buddha statues were blown up in 2001, the Bamyan Buddha statues. Man, that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart. That really does break my heart, because somebody, a bunch of people created those statues. They put their lives, their life force into that. If you haven't seen what they are, they're statues that are carved inside the mountains, and according to Wikipedia, they were carved around the years 600 CE or something like that. For some reason, I thought that they were much earlier than that, something in BC, but 600 CE is still really, a different time period, and really, a few thousand years old, several millennia old. But is it though? Anyway, I'll let you do the math. Add 600 plus whatever to get to 2023. The point is that, I get really heartbroken when I think of the statues and the true artists that created those statues, and how, human emotions like rage and jealousy and whatever psychopathic tendency that the Taliban at the time felt, and their leaders at the time felt, for some reason, destroyed the Buddha statues. I mean, it's sort of like, if you're in an art class and there's a kid that's done a painting, and then there's this other kid who looks at that and is like, oh, that really, for some reason, I feel offended by that. They don't use those words, right? No kid will say, I'm offended by that. But, they'll express it in a more childish way, in a very real way of like going over and ripping that painting apart, or spilling something over it and destroying it. I mean, that's basically what happened with the Buddha statues. Somebody created something, and it stayed there for 1,000 and a few hundred years, and then somebody comes along and is like, I don't like that, I will destroy it. We must destroy it. Right. And not only does that tell you about the power of art, like how it can move people in so many ways, but also everything is a sort of artifact that generates emotion and action from people, right? Mona Lisa, I'm sure the Taliban also would also destroy that, but currently, thankfully, it's in Louvre, and so people go and stand in front of it, and there are thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people every year who want to see it. They go and they check it out. Right, that's one kind of emotion, right? Reverence, people crying in front of it, or Salvador Mundi, or Picasso, or museums, right? The idea of having a museum is I mean, it's so many things, right? It's about celebrating human creation, heritage, history, all of that. And I'm just pointing out the emotional side of it, right? That people, for the most part, people, humans, when they show up to a museum, it's not because they're a researcher, right? The main purpose of having a gallery or a museum is so that most people go to them, and most people are not researchers, right? They, like, children show up and they look at Van Gogh and say, oh, that I can do a better painting than that, or I like that, or you don't even say anything, you just look at them. And that's why galleries exist, right? It's for people to go there, and it's emotional attachment. It's and only societies in some way, right? In some way, having the modern context intact, and sort of operating off of the basis that, in order to have like a modern gallery or a museum, quote, a museum, you need to be like a society that's not in complete abject poverty according to the rest of the world, to the modern world. Technically, the whole world, I think, is a sort of museum or gallery. Everything is an artifact. This is, an item in my museum. This place where I reside, it's a gallery of sorts. It's open for inspection. Feel free to check it out. Give me a call, or send me an email or a message, and sure, I'll open the doors to visitors or researchers of sorts. But um, I, right, it's a luxurious. I'm just saying that, right, the modern idea of a museum um, is based on a certain kind of assumption that the society is doing well enough. It's met its basic needs, food, shelter, safety, and all of that, in order to have a place which is not really about practical consideration, right? Like, quote, practical consideration. Um, it's just for your viewing pleasure, right? As one could put it. And people spend tens of thousands of dollars on a piece of painting because they already have money for food and shelter and all of that. So it's you know it's societies that have that kind of discretionary funds and purchasing power in order to acquire and support artists. And yeah, where was I going with all of this? Yeah, that's the modern idea of a gallery or a museum. That humans have satisfied themselves to a certain degree, and therefore they do it. They create things like museums. But think of the cave paintings. The oldest cave paintings. The famous one that's in France. And how many other places that haven't been discovered? They were sort of, you know, galleries. Um, so it's, of course, existential. It's real. It's primal. It's necessary. If art has been with us since the very beginning, uh, right, and we and we've had this power to be creative and create things and be the gods, then it really tells you this, the fact that we are all artists. We're all creating whatever we do. It doesn't necessarily have to be painting or music or film or cinema. Um, but making babies, that's art. That's creating. And fundamentally, we are all creators. We're all creators because we have these emotions. That's what makes us humans, right? More than anything else. Oh, why are human beings special? Well, I used to say, just like most people, oh, because we can think, because we can rationally think, because we can ration things, divide things. Um, I think now that the most important thing ever, just period, are the emotions. Period. Just you know, that's it. Just the emotions themselves. Period. That's that. Love makes the world go round. Right. Remove that, and you'll see a nightmare beyond the nightmare that's already you know unraveling before our eyes. Um, So, like these objects, whoever made this, of course, this was mass produced, but whoever designed this there's a lot of emotion contained in this object. There's a lot of emotion contained in this object. Each object holds emotions. They're containers for emotions, and that's powerful. Personally, you look at this. That's a face. That's, I did this. I made this during a therapy session. I started doodling toward the end because it went longer than an hour, and so I started doodling, and this is one of the things that I made. And I didn't plan on making this, but you know, now it's like a face, an interesting way to draw a face. Hopefully, I'll put this on a canvas someday. And there's a lot of post-its that I constantly fill like that, and someday I'd like to transfer them over to a bigger piece, like a canvas, and add some interesting colors to it and make more colorful things. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm just saying all the things that I'm thinking about. Um, these realizations that are very important to me, and you know, allow me to be an artist. Oh right, yeah. I started this whole video by saying, yeah, don't ask, just do it. Look, I work for Nike. The the motto, the tagline is just do it. And look, I know I've had my criticisms of Nike for sure. Yes, there's many, but let's not even think about Nike. You know, the line "just do it" is a great line. Just just go create. Just you don't need to learn anything. Just do it. What you want to photograph things? Just photograph things. Just start doing it now. There will never be any perfect moment to start photographing things. Every moment is perfect in a certain way. How many times have you looked back at photos and you're like, thank God I have these photos? I captured somebody in this hilarious way. Thank God I had my phone and I had the courage to click, and I wish I had more courage to, click more photos. Like for me, that's always, the regret. Like I wish I'd taken more pictures, more videos. And the reality is that was back then. Right now, how many photos am I not taking? Right? The task is to take photos now, to not be like, oh wow, I missed all those times or whatever. Same thing with painting or whatever. I wish I painted these things. Well, now is the best time to start creating. There was some line that was like, well, yesterday was the best time to plant a tree, but the next best time to plant a tree is right now. Ladies and gentlemen, life is a paradise, but only if you don't resist the idea, the reality. Sorry, Half Slice. I have to take care of you. Phthalo blue. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful color. I'm going to paint the other side of this Nike bag. Sure, there's a canvas, but the whole world is a canvas, right? People constantly complain about the world being boring in a way sometimes. Well, not everyone, not every person, but you know who I'm talking about. There are some people who constantly complain about the world being boring. I used to be one of those people. I am still one of those people, constantly complaining about, oh my god, this is so boring. Well, you also have the power to make it really, really, really interesting. You really do. I mean, you have the power to make it really anyway. What did you want to do as a child? What was fun for you? Why are you silly? Why are you so funny at times? Do that. You don't know what's possible until you try it, right? Until you extend yourself and go farther and you open your arms and you accept the bigger reality. Um, to send an email. That's that. Cadmium yellow. Don't mind me if I do. Making the world less boring one brush stroke at a time. Wait, does the whole thing have to be green? I actually like it, yeah. I'll do the whole thing green. That's a lot of green. Goodbye, houseflies. Okay. The next color, I like to add Mr. Nike. I'm not forgetting orange, okay? I'm going to add plenty of orange here. Okay, orange is done. Fantastic. Next, add some brilliant blue, perhaps. Oh, and I shouldn't forget the sides. There we go. That was the brush that I was looking for. think I did a pretty good job. I'll just see. Yeah, I should really let this dry and then do the sides. And here's the thing. I'll even do the insides. I'll even do the inside of the bag. Funny how these things happen. Okay. Go make something out of it.